So there's this crazy story in the Old Testament about a prophet, and at one point in his life, the Lord had him go on top of this mountain where he was going to meet with him. And so the prophet, he's going up onto this mountain, and when he gets to the top of the Lord, it says the Lord sends a mighty wind, and it blows heavily and shakes the ground. Then it says the Lord wasn't in the wind. And then a fire came and it burned everything up, but the Lord wasn't in the fire. And then a mighty earthquake came and shook the mountains. It says it shook the mountains where he stood, but the Lord wasn't in. He wasn't in the earthquake. And then a small, still whisper came, and it said the Lord was in the whisper. And Elijah heard him, and when he did, he fell on his face and began to have a dialogue with God. And I don't know. I know many a times for me in my life that I go through moments where I'm trying to hear God's voice and I'm seeking Him and I'm seeking out what He's saying at that time, but I'm not necessarily looking to hear His voice, but I'm looking for the way He used to talk to me. And I feel like the story so relates to that, because you see, God spoke to His prophet before in a mighty wind and in an earthquake and in a fire. But I really feel like in the story, God was testing him. Say, are you really looking to hear my voice? Are you really seeking to hear my voice? Or are you seeking to hear how I've always spoken to you? Are you looking for the signs? Are you looking for the certain things that I used to do? I feel like so many times in our lives we get caught up on certain highs, or we get caught up on how God has done things before with us and spoken to us before. And I think we need to get back to a place to really seeking His voice. And I believe if we wait for those moments and we really just learn to be still and wait on His voice, that we will begin to hear that small whisper that He loves to speak to us in. Because it's interesting in the story, after the prophet hears the still small voice, it says he falls on his face and he says, Lord, I've heard you. And God's response is, now why are you here? So basically, why have you come to me? Now that you've actually listened to my voice, I'm here to respond to you and ask, what is it that you need in life? And the dialogue started between them. The prophet began to present why he was here, what was on his mind, what he was going through, what he wanted from the Lord, what direction he wanted. And I feel like that's what God really wants with us. And I feel like with us, if we will just come to this place where we remain still and we know, it's God speaking to us, and we're really paying attention to His voice and to what He's saying in the moment, and listening and waiting on that still small whisper that He tends to speak in. I really believe that it's right then and there that the dialogue happens. That God says, okay, why are you here? What do you need from me? And then we can respond to Him in that way. So I honestly think for all of us, for me, we need to learn how to wait on the still small voice and then have that dialogue with God.